Belinda Everhart, who supported our spelling bee this year, and we're going to allow them to recognize our spelling bee winners.
Mr. President, members, if you guys want to stand, and we'll just scoot our chairs back. And we'll just have the youngins come up along the steps here, and we'll shake hands and stay here for the picture up top.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Strickland, tonight we honor and recognize our Lee County Spelling Bee winners. We'll start with sixth place. We have Kyrie Ehrenhart from Jal Elementary. In fifth place, we have Carter Hensey from College Lane Elementary. And in fourth place, Judah Arciaga from Veritas Academy. In third place, Jesus Alcantar from Broadmoor Elementary. Second place, Mun Candle from Mills Elementary. And in first place, from Jal Middle School, Elijah Earp. We'll make sure that they get their awards.
Congratulations.
All right.
Everybody ready for it, please? Don't wait. You're fine. Just tell me where to look. Right, thank you. Great job, guys. Great job, guys. Appreciate that. President, members, we have Mr. Jeremy Soria here to kick off comments for our state champions in dive and wrestling.
Mr. President, members of the board, I didn't realize we had a mic down here. Sorry. Things have changed. First, I want to recognize Kenley Gonzalez. A few things on Kenley as a freshman. She had never dived before. Last year marked her first competitive season where she placed ninth at state. Kenley dedicated herself in the off season. At the state meet, everything seemed to come together. Her final 3 dives propelled her to the top of the leaderboard, breaking her personal record in the process. With those incredible performances, Kenley became the first Hobbs female diver to win a state championship, and she did it as a sophomore. With 2 years still ahead of her, the possibility of a 3-peat is well within reach. We are very proud of Kenley and her accomplishment in becoming the 2026 New Mexico State Dive Champion. Go ahead and bring her up. We got the medal.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and do that. Kenley, come on up. Come on up, shake hands. Congratulations. All right, so what dive did you win on? Okay.
It was nice too. It was nice. All right, along with her teammate, Alfredo Hernandez, a junior and a third-year diver. He has also built an impressive legacy through his dedication and competitive drive. Last year as a sophomore, he tied for first place at the state championships after posting a score of 531.15. He improved on that score by finishing with a 532.90 this year and separating himself from the pack, bringing home the 2026 State Dive Championship trophy. Now as a junior, Alfredo has the opportunity to pursue a third championship next season, potentially becoming the first Hobbs diver to win 3 consecutive state titles. We're very proud of Alfredo and the way he continues to represent Hobbs swim and dive. And I would also like to recognize Coach Calderon and Coach Collins for all the great work they do with our swim and dive team. Holding them up there.
You guys, just first, would you hold the boards up so I can see your names, so I can spell them correctly to be sure? Hold up a little higher. Okay, right there we go. I get the names any way I can. All right, right up here, everybody, please. Hey, you can bring the boards down. There you go. All right, thank you.
She doesn't need the name. She knows.
I don't need the name. I made the poster, I got it.
Great job, guys. Yes, sir. We got room. Got room here now.
All right, now we'd like to recognize Samuel Pages, who's currently a sophomore at Hobbs High. He finished his sophomore season with a record of 39-9. He won both regional champion and state champion this year. He is the very first non-senior wrestler to win a state championship for the Hobbs Eagles. Samuel's not only looking to repeat next season, but also three-peat in his upcoming career. Hobbs has never had a multiple-time wrestling state champion, and he's looking to make history. We're very proud of Samuel and his accomplishment in becoming the 2026 state wrestling champion.
All right, Samuel, what was the score in your championship match? 8-4. 8-4? Good stuff.
And I'd also like to recognize Coach Schnabert and Coach Pratt for all that they do with his
Maybe hold it up just for a second. All right, sit there. Now for real, everybody look right up here, please. Thank you.
Oh. Certified. Yep, you're up.
Mr. President, members of the board, it's my privilege tonight to be able to honor the staff members that we'll introduce here shortly for their accomplishment and what is a voluntary program in order to increase their professional development and become the best teachers and nurses that we can have here in our schools. For those of you that don't know, National Board Certified for the Teacher is a program that achieves the highest level of professional certification in the U.S., administered by the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards. These teachers demonstrate advanced teaching knowledge, skills, and commitment to student learning through a rigorous portfolio-based assessment. And so that's kind of that in a nutshell. I'm assuming not knowing with the nurse program, I'm sure it's the
You
same.
have to know how to save your life.
So at this time, we do have 15 teachers that are in the program. I do also want to point out that one of our board members is also a national board certified teacher. So Haley Armstrong, Rebecca Berkeley, Marcia Campbell, Trisha Cox, Dora Davis, Dr. Debbie Dean, Ashley Dennis, Melissa Crombie Gonzalez, Catherine Gonzalez, Melanie Mago Cacao, Loretta Milligan, Laura Ponce, Summer Rickman, Tether Rodriguez, and Dr. Cynthia Trevino.
I'm so excited to introduce the nurses that have become our nationally certified nurses. These are the first nurses ever in the history of Hobbs schools that have been nationally certified. So we're very, very proud of that. Our very first one was Miss Ernestine Harmston. And just so you know, Ernestine is also a diagnostician, but no one can steal her from me because I won't let her go. Then we also have Jessica Henry. Who did all this with 3 little babies. And I'm very proud of her for that. And then Heather Sweeney, who for those of you that may not know is also a certified nurse practitioner. So I have an extremely talented group. And Jessica's husband just joined us at CTEC as an instructor. And then of course, Heather's husband Ryan has worked for us for quite a while. So we just keep everything in the family. And we just, yeah. But I'm extremely proud of him.
All right, so ladies, because there's not a male in the group. Let's all fill in, and we'll fill in and take a really big picture and listen to Andy and Jenny. How's that sound? Come on in. While they're doing this, for those of you in the audience, if you're interested in National Board, we want to help you do that. Come on in, keep filling in. If you're interested in what you gain from it, next year, every single one of these individuals will receive a stipend of about $10,500.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. Across the street.
What's the sorority quotes?
Everybody look right up there, let's come in from this side just a little bit, can we? Here we go. Now it's better. Everybody look right top of my head. Get rid of the deer in the headlights look. That's my best joke, people. All right, thank you.
Hold on. All right. Thank you. Okay, ready? 1, 2. Thank you.
Great job, appreciate y'all. But like Mr. O'Brien said, the audit portion's coming, so that's the next 2 hours.
Feel free to stick around. It's exciting stuff. Anybody's interested in the office?
Yeah, okay. Oh, good Lord, it takes forever. It's very intense.
So, Mr. President, members of the board, the last item we have in terms of recognition are for you all. For those in the audience may not realize this, each and one of these individuals are elected. They're elected by our community, and they represent a certain portion of our community. This office is the only office in the state of New Mexico that is required to complete mandatory training every year. There's no other elected office that's required to be better. So on behalf of the superintendent and every single member of House Schools, thank you for each and every one of your dedication to that. Even though it's a have to, each and every one of you look at it as this is what we get to do. And statutory requirement is that you all attend 5 hours, except for Ms. Randall, you get to do 10, lucky you, you're being a new member. But in addition to that, the New Mexico School Board Association represents or recognizes board members that go above and beyond, well beyond that. And so we've got one board member that will receive 2 awards this evening. The Exemplary Award is presented to individuals that have earned 20 or more hours of training within the 24-25 school year or program year. And that's Mr. Vice President Kerry Romine. The Outstanding Leadership Award goes to a board member who completes 36 cumulative hours of training for level 2 of the leadership development program set by the Board of Directors of the New Mexico School Board Association. And that is our Vice President, Mr. Kerry Romine.
Thank you for those words, Mr. Strickland, and like you said, I know it's requirement, from state statute that we do the training, but as I said before, we'd all do it voluntarily because it's we value education, not just for what you guys do and for our kids, but for ourselves as well. Ever-changing landscape in New Mexico with education policies, procedures, and finances, and things like that. It's definitely worthwhile to stay on top of that. So thank you very much. No comments?
No, sir, we had no public comments.
Instruction.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. I bring to you tonight consideration for the bilingual application for the upcoming school year for 26-27. I'm Galinda Everhart to answer questions and answer anything you have.
Questions for Everhart?
Hold on.
Yeah, somebody got to ask her one question. How long did it take to get it done?
Not long.
Not long?
I had a good tutor, great tutor,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
learning great things.
Yeah, it's always crazy how all these applications, and people don't realize all the stuff that y'all have to do behind the scenes to make the wheels turn. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hold on, Belinda, don't go anywhere. It is for approval item, Mr.
I take a motion for approval of the bilingual application for 26-27 school year.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President, members of the board, while Ms. Everhart is here, I'd like to take the opportunity and acknowledge Galinda's promotion. So as Ms. Rozier retires, at the end of May, not even at the end of June, at the end of May, that left a vacancy in elementary learning and instruction. And it's a really good conversation. Ms. Everhart has accepted the position of elementary learning and instruction for next year. And we're thrilled to see that transition and thrilled to see where we continue to move. So congratulations.
Honored to wait. Thank you very much. Thank
That's why you had to wait.
Mr. Byrd.
Mr. President, members of the board, in your packet, you have the monthly reports for classified employment. We had 4 individuals that came on board with us since the last meeting. We did have 3 certified resignations, 5 individuals in our classified positions, tendered resignation. And then obviously getting to that time of the year where we're having retirements. We had 4 individuals that retired at the end of February this year. All 4 were longtime employees that there left a lot of knowledge going out the door in the maintenance department. So like I told Mr. Young, good luck trying to get that replaced. We also have 2 items tonight with letters of intent, our coordinators and directors, and then our principals and assistant principals. Stand for any questions.
Questions for Mr. Byrd? Yep, thanks. Mrs. Byrd.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. I have the 120-day membership and attendance reports. We'll start with the membership report with our 120-day that ended on February 11th. So it's been a minute, but we have time to validate and do all that good stuff. So if you're looking at the membership report, the new information is highlighted in green. So enrollment on February the 11th was 10,033, membership of 9,760, and FTE membership of 9,692. And that is a decrease in 31 students from 80-day, a decrease in membership of 50 members, and FTE membership of 61.5. On the right-hand side, you have comparisons at the top. You have the average of this year's 80 and 120 day, which is what budget is determined by. And then you have some comparisons of 120 last year to 120 this year. So we are down a little bit over 100 in all of those categories, and difference of 120 to the beginning of this school year, the 40-day. Is 31 in enrollment, 50 in membership, respectively. And I will stand for any questions.
In addition to that, Mr. President, members of the board, I do have at your desk, this is something that we started doing just to begin to look at what enrollment trends actually are. One of the things that happens in New Mexico is exactly what Ms. Bird shared, is that 80 and 120-day average in year-over-year budgeting and financing. The caveat to that is that number is looking backwards consistently. And so we're looking back a year ago in comparison to, to this year. What you see in front of you is, especially the one with the black boxes on the left, is a cohort analysis of just our students this year that we had last year. So that's why there is no number for 3Y and 4Y, or no number for kindergarten, because we didn't have those kids last year. So in terms of comparison, it allows us to see who our true cohort numbers are, and allows us to see that change over time. And so you can see we've chosen different months throughout the year to be able to look at that. And in putting this together, did put together February the 11th, because that was that 120th day. And what was that true enrollment on that day for those exact cohorts. The good thing about this is it allows us to say what's happening in that grade level. And if it's happening at a specific campus, what is that? As opposed to waiting till the 120th day, what's happening to that average? So you can absolutely see in this number here that, yeah, we saw a reduction of 41 students in the 11th grade. And why is that? That's what we dive into and we begin asking questions. Where are those students going? Why are they leaving? I can share with my office location next to Mrs. Lopez. She gets a number of requests for GED waivers and other similar requests from students in that age bracket. And a lot of that is tied to our Attendance for Success Act and what those accountability models look like at that age group. But it is an opportunity for us to continue looking at that on an ongoing basis. One number that you don't see reflected here in terms of the overall change year over year, last year we had 775 seniors. Those kindergartners last year that are first graders this year, 731 of them. So when you look about a year over year change, just by the sheer nature of kids graduating, that's a change of 44 kids in enrollment. So it allows us to really dive in deeper as to where those true numbers are. The backside there literally just gives you the individual count in those individual snapshots to February the 6th from those individual days. And so you can see from January the 8th to February the 11th, we've actually grown by 4 kids overall. The semester window is always that window where we do see significant changes because folks do move at Christmas break. And so you can see an explanation there. But it does allow us to see that change over time from that first day all the way forward to the day we are currently in that snapshot. Again, this has allowed us to be more reactive in terms of where our enrollment is, recognizing that absolutely what Sean presented to you is what funding is based off of. This number allows us to have a much closer temperature check, so to speak, on enrollment.
All right, attendance also from 120 day, February the 11th, counting the number of students that meet the threshold to be considered chronic absentees. So that means that they have missed more than 10% of their enrolled days. And we track that number over those reporting days. So you can see the number of chronic absentees at each campus, the total enrollment at each campus, and the percent of chronic absentees. And this is cumulative. So it goes back to the first day of school. Students who have been enrolled that whole time are represented in here with their overall percentage. A student who's been enrolled 2 days is also in here. So you can see that we did have a decrease at College Lane and Sanger. So good job to those schools and their attendance practices and encouragement that they do. And then you do see that we're staying pretty steady, which by 120 day historically is not the case. We usually have grown quite a bit since the beginning of the year, but we have held fairly steady, 18% at the beginning of the year overall district-wide, and then 23% now, which is a slowdown from previous years. I'll stand for any questions.
Questions for Mrs. Bird?
Pay attention, March Madness is upon us. We're down to the Final Four. Yeah, in terms of weekly attendance rate on every single campus. So any Final Four contenders here in the room? Taylor? All right, yeah. So as a reminder, that campus that wins does receive an attendance celebration later in the year where we recognize the entire campus in terms of their attendance efforts.
At meals the other day, I like to add cardboard cutouts of students just in the chairs,
So they can count them?
I wouldn't say anything would cheat or anything. Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Bird? Thank you. That's I like that printout. Kind of gives us a better idea where we're at grade level wise. I know we did have a big class graduated last year, so I had a lot of kids. I've had a couple of big ones in there coming up. That 6th grade class is 800, I think.
Yes, sir. Good sized class. It will be the
Yeah,
first.
thank you.
It'll be the first class in the new middle schools. Good timing. Good job.
It would be built up. Bert, thank you so much. Mr. Lucky, over there, Mr. Operations.
All right. Mr. President, members of the board, first item is for your consideration and action of a joint service agreement with the city of Hobbs and our tennis courts over at Hobbs High School. This has been a long-standing agreement between the city and the schools. Looking at the date on this, talking with Todd Brandel, Assistant City Manager, we decided it probably needed to be updated since the agreement dated back to 1995. So after 50 years of this agreement, we were able to get this updated. It's basically, a lot of it is the same type terminology, but we did update a few things. As for your approval on the Hobbs and Hobbs schools.
I'd take a motion for approval of the joint service agreement with City of Hobbs for the tennis courts.
So move. Second.
A motion and a second. All in discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. That's on our.
Sorry.
Sure. Next, we have project updates. I will say that next month, we will have representatives from Park Hill here to give instruction. Appreciated everyone's participation in the beam. Del Norte and Heiser replacement. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, a lot of construction. Roofs are being put up, HVAC units are being placed on the roofs, exterior framing, exterior brick, finishing out HVAC, ductwork, electrical pools being pulled into classrooms. Just a lot of stuff going on right now. Anticipating that probably in about 14 months, substantial completion, ready to get moving. Buildings fully open. Systems-based PSFA reviews, pretty much unchanged on some things. Again, Taylor and Mills on their HVAC and electrical upgrades. That engineering is completed, and we will apply for funding for those in the next PSFA cycle, which will be fall. Replace the fire alarm systems at College Lane and Stone. We did meet with the PSFA review team on March 12th, right before we got a break. We're fully on board. We anticipate no issues when it goes for PSCO. Facility master plan, we will meet with the architect in charge of that, visions and planning, tomorrow. That will include, of course, Mr. Strickland, some members here in the audience, along with those architects, and begin looking at their recommendations, and begin meeting with our FAC committee. And then you might have noticed the stucco has started on the repair here at central office. So that will be about a 4 to 5 week process, ongoing. Hopefully, they'll be nearly complete by the time we come to the next one. Roofing repairs, POs have been issued for additional repairs on other campuses. They have continued to work. There was a lot of work going on over spring break on campuses. Taylor Elementary Playground is fully installed. We just need to do a little bit of dirt work and some irrigation at Taylor. Didn't take very long. Miss Kareem, ready to go. Really nice. Drew and Billy went over there yesterday on the walkthrough, walk out, and indoor batting cage at Veterans. We've got Park Hill on board. We've got to do some geotech surveys. Talking with Pettigrew from the time they do the drilling. It will be 4 weeks before those results. Pettigrew. That can begin. Been going through capital outlay requests. Andrew, you remember how many requests we had total? 143 requests. A lot of furniture and flooring replacements, security cameras, fencing. That makes up the value. We're getting quotes. Get POs issued and start getting materials ordered and installed. Oh, the boardroom, not 100% complete, if you may have noticed, not 100%, but certainly usable. The laminate on top is temporary. Picked out, but they weren't able to get it here in time. Groundwork and then adjustment with the drawers up there outright. Pretty much, I would say,
Come a little closer.
yeah, you're nice and close.
Yeah, comfy. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Young? I was telling Mr. Strickland, we were talking last night, I drove by the new Lee Middle School in Midland a couple of days ago.
Yeah, high school.
Yeah. Like 3 of our junior.
Moments.
Big spot. You do. Thank you for everything. Appreciate you. So the board has had their packet for quite a while. This spring break. So trust that if you had any questions on any of the expenses, investments, or bars, that you were able to get with Mr. Lashaway and have those answered. Quite a few bars this
That's what
time.
yeah, lots of bars.
Bars.
President, members of the board, I just want to clarify on the first 2 were, had award letters. The remainder, the other 22 bars came auto-generated from the PED. After we finalized our audit and all the cash adjustments from 24-25 audit, they automatically get generated. Submit these, as soon as we submit them, then they'll approve them. Formality, but yeah, like I said, 3 through 24 are all auto-generated bars.
Yeah, there's a couple of those that I wanted to know how they actually generated those funds and came up with those amounts, especially when we were looking at neighboring entities and the amounts that they were getting. Anyway, just saying that down here in southeast New Mexico, we don't always get back what we give.
A lot of this is because we have to budget cash. So that's what, anytime the cash changes, we have to adjust the beginning budget balance.
This was nothing for us. This was how it gets funded towards us. Yeah.
Sure.
If no more comments or questions, I will seek a motion for approval of the expenses, investments, and 4,732 bars.
So moved.
I second.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Lashaway.
President, members of the board, we have items D and E, and this is our 24-25 audit reports. We have Terry Ogle with our accounting firm here, and
Okay, so this is a presentation of your audit report. And this year, for the first time in New Mexico history, you have a 2-cover audit report. Because usually they don't let you split the two audit reports. So I'm gonna go through the first one really quickly first. The first important page is the yellow page 3. In your opinion is the first two paragraphs. The first one is what the opinion is on. And the second one is the actual opinion. And it says that we believe your financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects. The next part that is of importance is the last paragraph on that page, and it's the emphasis of matters. And it has to do with the change in a GASB requirement. It changed the way things were reported, so we'll get into that in just a minute. The next part of the opinion is on page 5, and it's the in relation to opinion that basically says that we've looked at all of the other numbers in the report, and they agree with the numbers at the beginning. Then we're going to go back to the restatement because that's the effect of the in relation to opinion, and that's on page 55. And there was a couple of things that changed, and the first thing was your GASB 101, which caused a restatement of $1.5 million, an increase. This is because of the way they wanted the compensated absences to be reported. They basically said that you need to go through and estimate how much you're going to use of your compensated absences. And everybody looked at us like, you ask somebody that and they go, what do you mean? So somebody came up with an idea to average it, and that's what they did, was they basically averaged it over 3 years. Then you have a change. The next restatement column is for the change from a material fund to a non-material fund. And the next one was a correction of an error. I believe it's in capital assets. There was a correction of an error, or a change in estimate is basically what it is. It changed the estimated useful life to 50 years. The next one is a change because of a transfer from the fund or the fiduciary funds up to the 2,300. So no money left the school district. This is just moving stuff around. The next thing that I want to go over is the opinion on page 127. This is your government auditing standards opinion. The government auditing standards opinion comes in 2 parts. The first part is reports on internal controls over financial reporting. And it's a good, clean opinion. There was no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. The next opinion is on 128, and it's your report on compliance and other matters. And there are 2 parts to this opinion. The first part is on government auditing standards, and there's no findings in the government auditing standards section. He's trying to keep up?
You're good.
Okay, go 2 pages down. Yep, we're on the next page. I forget about you trying to keep up with me. So there are 3 opinions, but they're all in the New Mexico requirements that we're going to go over here in a minute. The next page is on the is a summary of your a schedule of findings and responses, and it basically summarizes the audit report for you. So whenever I leave and you're wondering what I said, this page will tell you about it. And so it basically says you have an unmodified opinion, no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, no non-compliance material to your financial statements, and that in the New Mexico state requirements, there are 3 other non-compliance and no other matters. So now your next page is the first opinion, or the first audit report, the first audit finding. And it has to do with the way things were posted in the trial balance. There was an error posting $13,457, and it was posted in the state revenue instead of in the federal revenue fund itself. And the other part of it is there was $4,331 that was really cash drawers in the schools for the cafeteria. And so when they took it out of the books, they posted it to expense, and when they put it back as federal income. And so it's not really federal income and just posted incorrectly. The next finding is on internal controls over budgetary expenditures. And there's two parts to this. The first part is the fund itself, and they overexpended the whole fund. So the fund 24,189 had a final budget of $170,000, and you and Hobbs Schools spent 201, so it was overexpended by 30,000. And then the other fund was 24,330, and it didn't have a budget, and you spent $101,000. The next part of the finding is a line item budget or by function finding. And it has to do with the final budget being less than the line item of expenditures or the function. It's not really a line item, it's by function. The next finding is on page, it's the next page. And it has to do with personnel files. There were 7 personnel files that was missing a background check, 2 contracts that could not be found, and 1 contract was signed in February after the year started. That's the end of this report, and I'll go on to the next one unless you have specific questions for me. The next report is the single audit part of the audit report, which is your federal expenditures. And so we're going to go to page 3. And page 3 is your uniform guidance opinion. And it also comes in 2 parts. The first is reporting on compliance with each major federal program. And it is a clean opinion with no modifications or qualifications in it. And on the next page, there is the report on internal controls over, internal controls over compliance. And it is a good, clean opinion with no modifications or qualifications. And then the part that you don't usually have is on page 5, and it's the report on your schedule of expenditures and federal awards. And it's in relation to the audit report itself, and it says that it all agrees. And then you have your schedule of federal awards, which is about 2 pages down. Yep. And it says that you spent $12.9 million, and it gives you every fund that was expended and how much was expended, and shows you what programs you're using and how the state allocates their money. And then it also gives you on page 9 the funds that we tested as major programs. And we tested Title I and the teacher Title II, which is the teacher training. And so you are considered a low risk oddity, so we had to test 20%, and we tested 27%. And that doesn't mean that we tested 100% of everything in there. We did a random selection of it. Then on page 10, we reconciled you back to your audit report. So we started with the federal expenditures in the first report, and we reconciled you to your expenditures in the second report. And then on page 11, you have your summary of findings and question costs, which again tells you all of the information that I said before, because it again summarizes all of the stuff except for the New Mexico part, except for the part that contains the federal awards. So it says in the federal award section, you have no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, no question cost. It again tells you which programs we tested as major programs. That 750,000 is the difference between a type A and a type B program, and that you qualify as a low risk oddity. Any questions?
Any questions? Well, work. All right, time to start the next one.
Yes, it is about time to start the next. Good evening.
Thanks, Terry.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
I don't, but you can go to the state auditor's website and download a copy.
Okay, very good. What your name for me?
RRY.
Andy, I'm gonna give you my copy.
Oh, okay.
You're more than welcome to have it. I didn't write anything in there about you.
You don't want to see what I
I understand. I'll read it on Thursday.
Don't take off people who buy, paper by the ton.
There you go. That's exactly right. Yep.
Thanks.
I would, any other comments? I seek a motion for approval of the 24-25 financial audit.
I make a motion to approve the financial audit.
A
Second.
motion and a second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I seek a motion for approval of the 24-25 single audit.
I make a motion to approve the 20.
A second.
Single audit.
A motion and a second, any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President, members of the board, what I would like to do is, before we move on, is recognize Mr. Brian Bird in his efforts of stepping in and keeping the business office running for that year, so that we could have an audit that was clean, that was an unmodified opinion. And as a fiscal agent of public dollars, we take that responsibility very seriously, and I appreciate Brian's role in leading that in the business office last year. Sure, he is thrilled to have Mr. Lashway here now, but absolutely, that's a huge undertaking for both HR and finance. So thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Appreciate all your work. Flashway, appreciate all your work as well. It's been a busy year.
Sure has. Mr. President, members of the board, we have under items F, just to give you a brief update on our budget planning for 26-27. We had our second budget committee meeting this afternoon at 4, and we walked through the where we're at this point. Ended the spring budget workshop on by PED last week, and given the new unit value, which is up from what we even projected for what we have been hearing. So we're very pleased to hear that, and that increase was went from 6801 from this time last year to 71,117. So that's a over $315 increase. Another major investment in public ed. Pleased to see that, and we're going to be working diligently to complete the full budget by April 21st at our next board meeting. Get all that put together and brought back to you at that time, so that we have any time to get it to our due date. Over to Mr. Strickland to add anything.
Yeah, and thanks for that, Jay. And I would echo exactly those comments. That unit value of 7117 is a significant increase compared to what we anticipated. So that was good news and welcome for sure. One thing we do know at this point, based upon the statutory language of raises for school employees, the language says average of a 1% average raise. We do know right now that we're not considering average of 1% anywhere, that we will see for everyone a 1% raise for next year. The benefit that we will be able to see is we will be able to take and consider some salary schedules that we've got some compaction and make some targeted investments for us as a school district moving forward. So that's the work that we're engaged in now and looking to shore up that budget in advance of that April board meeting.
President, members of the board, we have item G, and it's our monthly informational budget report for March. And packet for your review. I stand for any additional questions you may have.
I have any questions for Mr. Lashaway? Yeah, exciting budget, so it was nice to hear that number. Kind of putting it a little bit here on a month, so. Yeah, glad to see that number, and hopefully we'll be able to do some things and finance some stuff for next year. Got a new school we got to plan for as well. Mr. Lashaway, thanks. Thank you. At this time, we're going to go into executive session for consideration. I'd like a motion for consideration going to executive session for the purpose of discussion of the superintendent's evaluation. And this will be a roll call vote. I need a motion.
I'll move.
A motion and a second. Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mrs. Randall?
Yes.
Mr. Romine?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Well, the time is 7 o'clock, straight up. Expect to see every one of y'all when we come back.
I expect crickets when I come back. That's all I'm saying.
Thank y'all.
Ms. Jones, are you going? Ms. Jones, if you can hear us, David said if you'll unmute, you should be good. Is that a star six? Is that what she needs to do?
Good. It's 7:56. I seek a motion for consideration to return to regular session. So moved.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's roll call. Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Ms. Randall?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Now, do you hear me? Okay, now you hear me. All right. See, these phones are too smart. Lord have mercy. It put me on hold the whole time after Gene called me on the other line.
Okay.
Ugh.
We're coming back into regular session, Ms. Jones. We're doing the roll call vote. Are you good?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll vote yes. I seek a motion for consideration that there was no action taken during executive session.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mrs. Randall?
Yes.
Mr. Roman?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is Mr. Strickland, consideration of superintendent's contract. I seek a motion for approval with the do it this or the next time with the
Say it again.
do it this time with the extension.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the 1-year extension, that would be through
28, 29.
2029 school year.
I make a motion that we approve the 1-year extension into 28-29.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Thank you, Mr. Strickland, for sticking around. We appreciate everything you do. Like, you do a lot and everything you do for the schools, and we definitely appreciate you, what you do.
Mr. President, members of the board, I'm grateful for the opportunity and grateful to serve alongside you. As I've said before, this is not a job, it's a calling, and I'm extremely privileged to be able to serve alongside the 1,300 staff members for the good of our kids, 1,000 plus kids in the greater Hobbs community. So thank you for your trust and belief in me.
Thank you. Like I said, it's, going to good superintendents are a valued commodity in the state of New Mexico. So we're lucky to have one of the best. So thank you very much.
Mr. President, members of the board, I have for your information really just an update on redefining Ready. Hobbs Municipal Schools, in concert with our mission, vision, and values of creating opportunities, fostering opportunities for our young people that speak to their unique future, recognize that we can be doing more. We can be doing better. And we came alongside Redefining Ready of the National Superintendent Association. It's been around since 2019. Actually, it's been around since 2013. And Redefining Ready really just continues to ask the question, what does it mean to be ready? And it is in line with our discussion and our questions of, does a high school diploma communicate you for readiness? And I think what we've all known now is no, it doesn't. While it may be a gatekeeper to success, to some opportunities, it doesn't define your readiness. And so what you have in your packets is really components of that framework that talk about what it's meant to understand across the nation in terms of readiness. And you can see a number of factors there. And so out of that conversation, we were able to select our college career and military readiness solution, which is School Links. You've seen a presentation on that. And we are working towards defining what that means for Hobbs schools. So that framework there that you see, I think on page, I don't know what of your packet, a lot, page 393 of your packet, really just talks about what those things are. And so one thing to recognize is that a student can be college ready, as well as career ready, as well as life ready. They don't have to just be one. And probably for the better part of 40 years, we've told our young people, only thing you need to prepare for is college. And we know today that 70% of the jobs available do not require a college education. That doesn't mean we disparage folks from doing that, but we want to provide the opportunities to communicate that those that higher education does not apply to, you're ready for that next phase of life as well. So you see a framework there. Some interesting things is it actually pulls down, and they've identified a K-8 readiness as well to help onboard students into that pathway of readiness. So we continue to be engaged in that. You also see some slides there from our School Links solution. We're really beginning to see some benefits from School Links in that we now have data available that we haven't had before. For every secondary student now, we have what their preferred career is. And we're able to start aligning our course offerings to what we're calling degree plans or career plans for students. That as they begin to select courses, those are in line with what their career choices are. So we're excited about that work. Dr. Barra is doing a ton of work in that space and really thrilled with seeing that progress. And so excited about that. But more to come on the Redefining Ready as we continue to prepare our kids for their journey ahead of them. Next item I have for you, Mr. President, members, is information as well, is our Community Learning Day update. Our campuses are, as shared in that cover page there, they are engaged in preparing their plans for April the 18th. I think we had over 900 participants in our input tool or feedback tool towards that Community Learning Day. And every single campus has the autonomy to create their schedule that's based upon 5.5 hours with students. You can see there some of those things that are going to be included in that. We're going to see community or family art projects, to attendance bingo, family math events, playground rock collection. So some folks, they're going to get buckets donated and they're going to go and pick up rocks on their playground. Because maybe they've had some irrigation or they've had some work done, and we've got a little bit of caliche in this part of the world. And so they're going to go pick up some of those rocks, and then they're going to take some of those rocks later and use them as an art project, and they're going to paint some of them. But some of our local partnerships, Lee County Sheriff's Office, parent conferences, gardening. I think Ms. Rosier's actually signed up to show folks her green thumb at a campus that day and be able to help in that way. The career day rotations, bringing various careers into elementary schools and having students be able to be exposed and have awareness for those careers. So their plans are due on April the 13th. We will provide breakfast and lunch as a component of our school nutrition plan. And our buses will run on that day to provide transportation for that. As we get closer to that, I will share a calendar for you and really I must call it a booklet of what's happening on every campus so that you can go and participate and be able to see those things that are happening across town on the 18th. It's been a proud moment to be able to see folks take something that is unpleasant because we know we have to do it. But there's been very little bit, from my perspective, and other staff members may not agree with this because they may be experiencing it different ways. But the approach has been an approach of we get to. And many of the conversations I've had are they're excited about we get to do something different than our typical day that looks like our master schedule. So they're really leveraging that opportunity, and I look forward to seeing and hearing some of the results of that. Looking forward to that day on April the 18th.
My concern and question was, that's one of the days, and are we still doing the May the 25th day, Jean?
Ms. Jones, yes, ma'am, we are. May the 25th will be our second day, and it'll be a remote learning day. So staff have not began creating those calendars yet, but the way that will work is staff will not be required to come to campus. They can if they desire to, but they have to have synchronous opportunities for students through Google Meets for half of that day. So they will build that calendar. Students will have those resources and materials on Friday before we leave. But that May 25th day, yes, will be a remote learning day for all students and staff.
That is Memorial Day, right?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Oh, okay. At first, I thought I was looking at it wrong, and I thought, but I hope they understand the benefit of them participating rather than having, say, had to take Good Friday or another day. You know what I mean? But we know
Yes,
how students are. So that was my only question. Thank you.
Good, yes, ma'am. So, Mr. President, the last item I have for you is an update on our calendar for 26-27. As we do each and every year, our district coalition, which is a coalition formed from every single campus in town and every department in town. They meet once a month with me, and we go through issues. We talk about impacts. We talk about implications of things that are on the horizon. One of their responsibilities is to draft our calendar for the next school year. And they've done that for the better part of 20 plus years, and they continue to look forward to that. On February the 5th, in advance of our first meeting, or in advance of our actual work that began with the coalition, we sent out a staff feedback tool to say, and literally the question was, as we consider our primary responsibilities to educate students, what are the most important priorities we should consider as we develop our school calendar for 26-27? And so what you have is what the coalition had as they began that work. This is an AI summary of all of those comments and feedback that were received. Some things to note, I think that what was interesting to me was a predictable calendar. Some of the other comments were on the summary on the back page, minimizing disruptions. Staff were while those disruptions may be beneficial, they also recognize they're a disruption, and it interrupts that continuous learning cycle that students have access to. The conversation's been productive. What you also have in your packets are draft calendars. Those are 100% exactly what they are. They're draft, and our process is always, we start from a large number of calendars, draft calendars. As a group, they begin to find those similarities between other calendars that are near theirs, and they resolve those. And then ultimately, we settle on at least 3 calendars to send to staff for selection. And the plan is we will meet again in April, the first Monday in April, to look at those drafts, refine those, and narrow those down to send those 3 out to the staff for selection. One of the things that you'll see in there is you'll see draft skinny something, and it's not because the paper was skinny. Literally, my instructions were ignore all of our historical, gotta have this so-and-so day off, and draft as skinny calendars you can create. 183 instructional days, 8 professional learning days. So it was really neat to see their thought process going into that, and recognizing some of the conversation that some of the things that we have when we talk about an extended school year or a longer school year are truly a function of the holidays that we desire. And so it was a good exercise for members of the team. What they've done is they've taken every single one of those and they've provided comments and questions, And that author of every single one of those calendars has answered those questions. Some of those questions are, would you consider this day over that day? And so it absolutely is a collaborative process that really allows some skill sets being developed in terms of advocacy and inquiry with staff members. So I'm really excited about that work. In addition to that, we do know that other school districts have made the decision to move away from a 5-day school week. We've had conversations with the coalition, and given the timing of what that sort of research would take, it would be my advice as a superintendent to this board that if that's something we desire to do, that we engage in that work in the fall to be able to look at all available research so that we're able to make a decision based upon what's beneficial for students and what's beneficial for this community, rather than making a trendy decision that may or may not be in the best interest of students. So knowing that, we will proceed with, for 26-27, having a 183-day calendar with 8 days allocated for professional learning on that. And with that, I'll stand for questions.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Strick?
No, I have none.
Ms. Jones, you have anything?
I have none. No, I have none.
I was playing with those today on AI and calendar. I got one for you.
Okay, all right, all right.
Jefferson one, I was looking at it, I like that one a little bit.
Yeah.
It needs a little, play with a little bit, but it looked really pretty good.
Right.
Kudos to Jefferson. Those good calendars.
Go Jefferson.
Go Jefferson.
Yeah, so if nobody has anything else for Mr. Strickland, I'd seek a motion to adjourn.
Vámonos.
Second.
Okay.
You always
That's our
second?
thing.
Okay.
That's our thing.
I will not get in the.
You
way.
guys have a great evening.
Thanks, Pat. You
Ms.
too.
Jones, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Well, if
I'll
you
be
need
talking back to you. I
If you
sure
need
will.
anything,
Thank
let us
you.
know.
All right, will do. Thank you. Bye-bye.